Okay guys, so the first bait I chose for this was the shaky head. So this is a zoom trick worm on a VMC jig head right here, and the worm color is pumpkin chartreuse with the chartreuse tail and everything. I love this bait for late summer because that's when the weather gets really hot at the end of the summer, and so those bass, they like to go down into the deeper water and they don't like to move a lot. So you just cast this out into the deep water, let it sit there for a little bit, dig it up and down a little bit and let it sit there for like 30 seconds. You'll feel like a thump on your line, and then kind of pull up a little bit, and once you feel if it starts moving a little bit, then set that hook. Alright, so the second bait that I chose is probably the most versatile out of all the 5. This is the Texas rig. Okay, so now the Texas rig, it's super versatile because there's a bunch of different kind of soft plastics you can use with it. Not only can you use Senkos, you can use brush hogs, you can use lizards, craws, all of those good stuff to catch those bass. And so how I like to fish this is I'll cast it out, let it sink to the bottom, and then I'll kind of drag it along the bottom and give it a little hops every once in a while. And that looks like something feeding into the very bottom of the lake or wherever you're fishing. And so when it looks like it's feeding into the bottom, that arises the dirt, and that makes it look like there's actually something there to the bass, and it's not just like weeds or something along the bottom. So, and then when you get a bite, if you're dragging it and you feel a bite, they'll usually kind of grab at the tail and kind of take off with it. But if they do, then let that happen, and then once you feel it kind of like sturdy, because I have braided line in here, so that's super, there's no stretch in it. So once you feel it kind of sturdy, then you want to set that hook. But if they do it and you're hopping, it'll kind of feel like a little thud, like I said with the shaky head. And then if you feel a little movement on that, then that's when you want to set the hook. Alright, so the third bait that I chose is this jerk bait right here. I love throwing jerk baits in late summer because, as I said, it's super hot, all the bass are lethargic, they don't want to move. And so the reason why I chose this is because if you throw a jerk bait into the water and use it correctly, it'll look like a fish that's kind of trying to escape, but it just like stays there and it suspends in the water, and that looks like a super easy meal for the bass. So I like to throw this like during the evenings and the mornings as you would other baits. And I usually throw the soft plastics like if I'm fishing in like noon or something, then I'll throw those. But I'll throw the soft plastics in the morning too, but I'll throw this usually. And then it'll jerk around with all those rattles. And then you usually feel the hit. If you feel the hit while you're jerking it, you'll definitely feel it. It'll kind of go like that. And when you jerk it, that kind of sets the hook itself. And so you just go on reeling the fish in. But if you hit it, but if the fish hits it when it's standing there, he'll kind of just go like this, and you'll feel like a little bump, and then once you feel that bump, set that hook. But if it isn't there, and you try to set that hook, that just looks like a big jerk to the fish, and that makes it look like it's trying to get away, and that could trigger a reaction strike. So that's when I like to throw this jerk bait around. So for the fourth bait that I chose today, I chose a spinner bait. And now the reason why I chose this is because not a lot of people throw spinner baits in the summer. I don't know why, but people just don't. It's like an unspoken rule. If you don't throw baits in a certain time, that means they haven't seen these baits in a certain time a lot, so they don't know that it's a lure. And so they'll go and have more strikes at it because they've never seen it in this time of the year. And also, it gets all real windy in California sometimes where I am, and so that pushes all the microorganisms that the bait fish feed off of into one corner of the lake you're fishing in or wherever you're fishing in. And that brings these schools of bait fish, which is what it looks like. Here's fish here, and a fish right here. And so this brings them up. So you just cast this along that windblown point and reel it back in, give it a couple twitches, hit it off like reeds or stumps or anything like that, and that'll make the blades kind of flutter a little, and that'll give it more action. During the summer, I go with the double willow leaf because usually it's calmer during the summer, and the Colorado blade, that gives off too much thump, and the bass don't like that. It kind of scares them away. But it's like fishing a swim jig. Usually for swim jig calm conditions, like if you throw spinnerbait, you throw double willow leaf so it doesn't put off a lot of vibration. But usually when the bass hit this, they'll just go will just go and eat it, and then kind of like take off with it, and then you just set the hook from there. It's super easy. Probably one of the best bass fishing lures ever made. Alright guys, so for the final bait that I chose for this, I chose the square bill crankbait. And the reason I chose this wasn't because of how lethargic the bass are or how they want to move. I chose it in order to match the hatch and cover some water in case I need to. This is the Strike King KVD 1.5 and dives 2 to 5 feet, I believe. And the reason I chose this color, the color is Tennessee Shad, but there aren't shad in any of the lakes that I fish usually. But for some reason, all the baby bluegill that are there are this color. They're white on the bottom and then green, like a yellowish green on the top. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, I have to have this. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I chose it. And then the other one to cover water and cast it out, reel it back in, cast it out, reel it back in, keep on doing that in order to cover water. And I can also fish some structure with these. Like I can cast it parallel to weed lines and everything. And I can cast it over structure, like deep structure. I'll cast it over that deep structure just to see if I get a reaction strike from underneath. Yeah, that's basically it for the square bill. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support my channel, please leave a like down below and comment on what you want to see next. Like if it's like a top 5 fall baits, because fall is coming up, or lure unboxings or anything like that. And also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this in the future. But I won't be able to be doing any actual fishing videos until like 6 months from now, until I get an action camera or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.